Hi everybody, this is Agnes from Sediment, and today let's explore 7 tips on how to start your wine journey right now. Wine is such an exciting world to explore, but sometimes it can seem a bit intimidating. On one hand, depending on where you are based, it is readily available and all you need to do is choose a bottle and start an exploration. On the other hand, there are so many options, names, prices, and opinions that it can easily become overwhelming way too quickly. I have been working with wine for 18 years and I am still learning and exploring. And if you wish to start journey in this beautiful and exciting world, some of these tips may be helpful to you. And stick around until the end where I will share a bonus tip on how to not get discouraged along the way. Let's start. Wine is fascinating because you can explore it through different lenses such as history, economy, politics, chemistry, physics, geology, ecology, you name it. Maybe not astrophysics or computing, but you get my point. Therefore, if you feel like diving into the world of wine is a little bit too overwhelming, start by exploring it through topics you enjoy the most yourself. It will definitely give you an extra confidence and allow you to explore something new in your field of expertise or interests as well. First of all, there are many great books available on wine. There will be some that provide general information about wine, as well as those that specialize on one specific topic or region or wine style. Some are very technical, especially those by Jamie Good, and some are simply a great read, sharing amazing stories about wine. When I started, I was reading many technical books about wine. As a sommelier, I needed to learn about specific grapes, familiarize myself with winemaking countries and the most important regions, and how it all unfolds in wine. But for my own pleasure, I was reading books that I felt were written with great passion. Some of my favorite authors include Hugh Johnson and Andrew Jefford, and their books like Life Uncorked and Drinking with Valkyries are amazing to read even if you are not particularly interested in wine. Furthermore, there are plenty of blogs and podcasts available for those who don't like reading. They can offer deeper and sometimes more entertaining way to learn about wine and, more importantly, look at wine from a different perspective. I will list below some of my favorite podcasts, platforms, and books. Also, I have my own podcast available on all major podcasting platforms, so look for Sediment. Invest in corkscrew and wine glasses. When I say invest in corkscrew, I don't mean you have to buy those expensive ones with golden incrustations. Get a corkscrew that functions well, does not shred the cork into scabs, does not break the glass, and includes a good knife for cutting the foil. All in one. This is my corkscrew. It costs between $5 to $10 and it works perfectly. For the majority of wines, this is the only corkscrew you will ever need. When it comes to wine glasses, keep it simple. At the beginning, I would advise not to invest in different wine glass shapes. Clear glass, light with stem and big enough coupe size that narrows at the top is what I would pay attention to. I want to be able to swirl my wine in the glass, not hold it by the bowl, and that it actually has space to gather all the aromas that we wine geeks are so excited about. I have actually made a more detailed video about wine glasses, which sparked a bit controversy, and I will link it here. Plus, I have included links to some of my favorite wine glasses in the description below if you are interested. Wine is a beverage that offers us pleasure beyond a simple buzz. The reason why we love it so much is because it packs history, legends, and stories in a single glass. Furthermore, the greatest examples stop you for a moment and interact with you through aromas and flavors unfolding on the palate. If you pay attention to the wine, it will reward you. Of course, there are wines that show simple primary fruit and have no extra layers to showcase. And if you pay attention to these wines as well, you can start to differentiate the quality levels. There are some funny videos circling the internet where people are giving to try some cheap and expensive wines in the blind tasting, and sometimes they cannot tell the difference. I think it is because there are wines that flash you with beautiful, plump fruit, and if we do not pay attention to it, we like it, love it even. But in reality, behind all that fruit, it lacks intensity and concentration, and the fruit tends to fade quickly. While high-quality wines can sometimes be shy, have a firmer tannin structure or higher acidity, not as blousy, but there is tension to them. And in some special cases, they will have an endless aftertaste. Therefore, taste wine and pay attention to it. Some of you may have a great memory allowing you to remember every single wine you have tasted, and I applaud you for that. Unfortunately, I am not that person. Of course, there are wines that have stuck in my memory, but I still like to write down some notes. However, keeping records of your wine journey should not be mandatory. Sometimes it is completely fine to open a bottle of a beautiful wine and simply enjoy it, without pulling out a notebook and making comprehensive notes, especially if you are sitting at a nice restaurant. But by keeping notes, you will have a reference and impressions of wines you have tasted, all in one place. It will not only help you to explore your taste preferences, remember which wines you liked or disliked, but more specifically, why. It will also help you in understanding what to expect from each wine. Maybe you will start to notice unique characters that are always present in certain grapes, wine styles, or regions. Keeping notes will also help you to see how your taste and vocabulary has changed and evolved. It can also help you in following the development of specific wines. For example, if you own a case of a particular wine, writing down your impressions when tasting it at young age, between 2 to 5 years, as it develops at 5 to 8 years, and once it has matured after 10 or more years, will deepen your understanding and knowledge on how wines change and develop over time. Stay open-minded, especially if you're only starting your wine journey. If you have tried a few Chardonnays and decided that you do not like them, make sure to give this grape another chance once in a while. The same goes for wine regions and countries. Of course, wine is here to bring us pleasure, so don't force yourself into buying Chardonnay until you have found one that you actually like. For this, creating a wine club with like-minded individuals, whether friends, family, or even strangers, can be a fantastic way to discover new regions and grape varieties. You can organize themed events and set price ranges for each gathering. You can also consider joining open wine clubs and organizations, attend local wine tastings and fairs. Another reason why it is important to stay open-minded is that our taste develops over time. Wines that you enjoy now might not be your number one choice in 5 or 10 years. Therefore, revisiting wines once in a while is a great way to rediscover forgotten gems. Last but certainly not least, if you have a chance, explore wine by traveling to regions where grapes are grown and wine is made. People who work in the vineyards and wineries are some of the most inspiring and passionate people I have ever met. Furthermore, all that reading and tasting always makes more sense when you are there and experience it for yourself. Like Mistral, for example, I was reading about this very important wind of the Rhone Valley in Provence, but only when I went there did I realize its significance. By traveling to winemaking regions, you will also have chance to explore winemakers and wine styles that rarely leave the borders of local region or winemaking country and are almost non-existent in the export markets. As promised, here's a bonus tip to keep you from getting discouraged on your wine journey. Sometimes wine can be intimidating and there are certain people who will like it staying that way. And it's not just men tasting their wines dressed in double-breasted button-down jackets, vests, shirts with cufflinks and handkerchiefs in the pockets. If you feel comfortable tasting wine that way, it is absolutely fine. However, snobbery so often associated with wine can manifest itself in many ways. And at some point during your wine journey, you may encounter it. There are people who will make you feel bad if you are not familiar with all the Burgundy Grand Crus and cannot discuss the soil, aspect and proximity to the woods of each Lieu dit. And there will be people who will be so woke that you will be judged for choosing champagne that is not zero dosage or wine that has been filtered and actually has SO2 added to it. Remember, these individuals are extremists and elitists, and they are there to make themselves feel better by militating against you. But don't feel intimidated by these people one bit. If you are interested in wine and you want to start discovering this super exciting world, do it, and do it on your own terms. It is your journey after all, not theirs. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like my next video on what I have learned as a sommelier during my 18 years in wine industry.